Welcome to Divination with your host, Louisa Brown. Get deep into divination and learn the true old ways. From crystal balls to tarot and much more, only on Divination.
Hi, how is everyone this evening? I need to get the banner changed, don't I, Damon? Need to say Louisa Winfield now. And my t-shirt that I've got for the merch. Never mind. Hi Jeanette, are you okay? Right, the pups are in the other room. They are just having a play fight at the moment. So if you hear some strange noises, it's just them. Hi Philip. Yeah, so Ben's just given a bit of a share out. He's in the other room as well. He's just come off a live on Embrace the Dark. I'm having a cup of tea. It's been a while, hasn't it, since I've done one of these. I've been quite busy with many life, wedding, Christmas. But yeah, try and get back to doing these a little bit more often again. Right. So this week, what I'm doing, puppies. So yeah, this week what we're doing is looking at bone casting. Hi Jess, you alright? Love your dragon. Ah, it's Ben's. I stole it off him because I like it. I need to remember that I can actually click on comments because usually Ben does it on the other show. Yeah, it's good. I like it. There we go. Philip says, sorry, not on it ages due to health. Oh, that's okay. I've not been on doing much really. No one has, but I hope you're feeling better now. So, yeah. This week, starting off the year, I'm going to look at some bone casting. So, got more comments popping now. Got Vaughn coming on as well. Hi, Vaughn. Okay, sorry. I'm just fidgeting around because I'm sat on the floor again because it's just easier with this little table next to me so I can throw things on there. Yeah. Right, so got my handy printouts. So I shall begin. From what I found out, there seems to be two main locations where bone casting was prevalent, these being China and Africa. Both places used very different techniques. Start off by looking at China. So in China, bones were used for divination during the late Shang dynasty, that's 1200 to 1050 BC. These bones came from animals and were used during ceremonies. They often came from the shoulder bone, if I can actually speak, shoulder bone of an ox or the lower side of a tortoise shell.
Random fact for you.
Oh, hang on, Ben's coming with a random fact.
You think that's why there's no trace of dragons in China? Because they're all extinct. They're all killed off to use their bones for bone.
Well, if you watch later on in the show, Ben, I do actually mention dragon bones.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're all right. Come in with your random little facts. I don't know if everyone heard that. Ben said that random fact is the reason why that dragons are now extinct is because they were used for this, basically. What are you munching on?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Didn't bring me one, did he? Yeah. Where I said the lower side of a tortoise's shell. The ceremony in which they were used was a way to seek guidance from deities or ancestors on topics ranging from military strategy, childbirth, hunting, the harvest, and anything else of importance, really. There we go. One thing, hope everyone's well. Just saying, hey y'all. And carry on. I should get Ben to make me look tea, shouldn't I, really? Wait until he comes back in. I'm not going to shout through the house at him. Many oracle bones found from here feature inscriptions recording the details of the ceremony. This includes the date, the person carrying out the ceremony, the questions asked, the interpretation of the answers, and sometimes the outcome. If you visit Scotland's National Museum, they have the second largest collection of oracle bones, the largest being in China. And these came from the Anyang city. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. Oracle bone divination lost popularity after the fall of the Shang dynasty in 1050 BC. Around 3,000 years later, farmers working near Anyang city found piles of bones buried in pits. At some point, they came to be known as dragon bones. He's not even listening, he's in the kitchen, he can't hear me. But anyway, came to be known as dragon bones. Oh, he's back! Ben, are you here? Can I have another tea, please?
Yes, master.
Thank you. Totally serious here, aren't we? So at some point they came to be known as dragon bones and were believed to have healing powers. They were sold to pharmacies and were ground into powder to use as ingredients in medicines. It wasn't until the late 1800s that it was determined that they were what they actually were. In 1899, Wang Yiran, a scholar who studied ancient Chinese bronze inscriptions, was prescribed a medicine containing dragon bones. Before these bones were ground up, he was said to have noticed the inscriptions and how similar they were to those on the bronze artifacts. Further research confirmed it to be the earliest known form of Chinese writing. Okay. Coffee for me, please. We'll get him on it on Saturday. Good timing, Ben. From this point, researchers set about deciphering these inscriptions, and this is still going on to this day. Around 5,000 individual characters have been identified, but only a third of these have been deciphered. Back to the divination ceremony. The bones to be used had carved grooves and drilled hollows, which were heated until they fractured into the desired shape. The fractures were believed to be the divine response to the asked questions. Interpreting the cracks, you could say, was subjective and could have been used as a political tool to support the king's wishes. After a ceremony, the inscribed bones were collected and stored in pits as a type of royal archive. So you know, when you think of bone casting, you think of having like the bones and you burying them, but this is a different way. That I just came across and I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. I'll have a little look at that. I've got pictures as well. Everyone likes pictures. But yeah, the way they did it in China, you took the bone, you write down all the information on it, and then you heat it up and then it cracks. And the way it cracks gets interpreted as the answer. So that's a bit strange. But like I said, it's a bit subjective because, say, like the king asked a question and obviously you don't want to displease the king because you might die. So you give him the answer that he wants. Hope for the best. What we got? Good strong English tea for me, please, Ben. When he brings mine through, I'll put all your orders in. Ron, it might take him a little bit longer to get to you, but you know, I think it's just up the M1, isn't it? Be fine. You might get there before the end of the show. So, no, the only problem with doing it with StreamYard is everything's back to front. So this is what was found. You see the markings all engraved on the tortoise shell. And then what we got there, pointing to that one there that says I, because that's all reversed. Is that in reverse? Well, I don't know. Oh no, no, it's the right way round. Excellent. So you got I to divine, day, first, and to offer. So there's some of the symbols that have been deciphered. As we got. These are actually from.
No.
Oh, I've got a puppy. I've got a cup of tea. Right. Jeanette would like a coffee, and Yvonne would like a strong English tea. Please.
I'll be in the post.
They'll be in the post. Not going to deliver them by hand. Oh, dear. Yeah. So as I say, these are from Scottish Museum from their collection. I just popped on their website. Got these off. Cute little tortoise. All inscription on it. You can see it there. And what else have I got? Got another bit of bone fragment. Again with all the little inscriptions on it. So yeah. If you go up to Scotland, go there, why not? That's how it tastes a bit of tea. Look at this steam coming off it. That looks pretty good. Anyway, I'm easily entertained. Not bad. Not bad. Passes. Right. Now I'm going to go on to looking towards South Africa. Now this might be more along what you think of when you think of bone casting. So in South Africa, bone divination was used by healers known as sangamas or inyangas. Again, apologies for the pronunciation. The sangamas or inyangas use bone, vertebrae, and other objects for bone throwing rituals. In these rituals, the bones and other objects are scattered by the healer in front of the client. The healer then reads the groupings and positionings in which the objects fall. Along with bones and vertebrae, sangamas might include other items of significance in their set. These include dominoes or similar objects, cowrie shells, dice, stones, and coins. Each item is personal to the sangama and is specifically collected, often because the healer feels led to the object. In the case of bones, sangamas carefully select them based on prior understanding and knowledge of the lifestyles of the animals from which they are extracted. Right. I think my dog wants to go out. She's barking at the back door, and I think Ben's popped off upstairs. She'll be down soon. I think she can wait. Yeah, he's coming down now. That's okay. Yeah. The bones and objects can be read to diagnose the client or pronounce what is needed in or missing from their life. For example, a hyena can represent a thief in the night, and its bones can tell the whereabouts of a stolen object. Bones from carnivorous animals are used to diagnose the likely outcomes of court trials. Indigenous healers may use these divination bones to diagnose the likely outcome of a trial. It's not just the objects that have a meaning, but also how they fall. The Indigenous healer must first identify the fall, interpret it, and then prescribe medication based on the interpretation. Gosh. Bear with me on this. In the Ngwaktis region of Botswana, the diviners use 4 principal bones which represent family and a number of supplementary bones, each representing a part of society. In a bone throwing ritual, the 4 principal bones must be used and supported by supplementary bones grouped in pairs. As archaeologist Alex C. Campbell outlines, some diviners work with only the 4 principal bones, but customarily all the bones are reused. The 4 principal bones giving the substance of the divination, and the other bones backing them up, giving extra nuances of meaning and relating them to society. The relative position of each bone, the way they face, and the direction in which they point are important and have meaning. Are we all following along? I should bring that a bit closer. Right. Campbell goes on to outline how the fall of the bones works for diviners working in Botswana. He explains that they can be 64 combinations of the 4 main bones, irrespective of position, and each of these combinations has a name and gives the dominant note of the interpretation. Yeah, Jeanette says, yeah, a lot to take in. Yeah. I agree. That's why these are very skilled people that do it this way. I don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully you can't. We'll just carry on. Oh my gosh. The puppy seems to have gone hyper.
Stop.
Anyway.
Be young then.
The position of the other bones in relation to the 4 principal bones may add to the name as well as the interpretation. No bone or pairing can be read in isolation, but must be read first as part of the 4 principal bones and then in conjunction with the accessory bones. So it's kind of like they all link in together and give the actual reading. What I've got here, another printout. Especially if you didn't get it right at the beginning, all you would be dead. So here I have another trusty printout. Which way is the right way round on that way? Showing a divination set from South Africa. Hi Kate, thank you for joining. So here we've got from South Africa. You've got, I'll just hold that there-ish. You can kind of see that while I read the explanation of what's on the page. Sorry if it keeps moving, it's really hard to keep still. So you've got a basket with lid and leather shoulder strap, which is used for holding all the different divination bits and bobs. So let me just get that. That's your basket. This is from a senior Sangama healer. The basket case. Oh, we've lost it. Yeah, I need it. Why Benny? My glamorous assistant told this for me. Far easier. So sort of like a different tarot formation for different purposes. Yeah, I think so. To be fair, you can kind of like compare it a little bit to like tarot. You compare it a bit to rune casting, because obviously how the cards fall, how the stones fall. Yeah, they all kind of relate to each other. Yeah, I'd say that. Oops, hitting the sand. Yeah. So we've got rubbish this. Yeah. The basket base covered with a goat skin and monitor lizard, attached to leather shoulder strap made of leather, and the 2 amulet rings of cowhide and raw goat hide. The divination kit comprises of 18 objects in 9 pairs. The basic set comprises several pairs of goat bones, some with wire attached, The set further comprises 2 bones, which are possibly baboon. Now, I'm not going to point out which is which because, to be fair, I don't know. But this is what they have discovered, and this is what they have on display. What else we got? You've got 2 tortoise shell pieces of the front media ventral, a bone possibly of a lion, a large cowrie shell, a set of conus shells, a set of cow hooves, a single worn bone possibly of a duca. Not too sure what that is. I meant to have a look and see what that was. Forgot. A set of olivine shells, a set of smaller cowrie shells, a set of whelks, a set of seed pods, one of them with wire attached, and in this kit they also found a stem of a fruit or a vegetable. So there you go. That's all that. I just noticed that's incense with a crazy smoke, not your tea. Oh yeah, look how I placed it. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's coming out of my tea. Yeah. Alright, so that is that. Right, now we'll move on to your own set. Right, you can do as I've done. Bought this one. It's a nice little set. It's already made, neatly packaged, comes with its own little key cards. Don't know if anyone was here when I did my divination show on cowrie shells. So I bought this set from the same person I bought the cowrie shells from. I think she was called the little grey witch, I think. Pretty sure. But yeah, she specialises in more this area of like witchcraft and magic, which is really interesting because hopefully she will be at the event that we're doing in February. Fingers crossed, because her stall is really interesting. Right, I'll go through what's in that set in a second. Can you use, I'm going to need to put that on. Can you use rib bones? I've seen them in horror films. I mean, you could, but you want it to be fairly small to be in your hand, so you'd either have to whittle it down or just use like a small animal's ribs if you wanted. Depends what you're drawn to. What else we got? A lot of sourcing to make one of those. Off topic, but what are good ways to cleanse and protect your home? I shall come back to that at the end, if that's okay, Kate. And it's weird how skin and bones grant assistance. Yeah. Right. So, try and remember Kate's question at the end. So yeah, I bought this set. Each piece of the set has a meaning, but the individual meaning is also to be taken on how the pieces fall and relate to each other, like we were saying with the other way before. Where they fall, touch and distance are also important in answering the question asked. If you want to make your own, you can start simply with 3 or 5 pieces. It's said that once you start collecting items for your set, you will notice other pieces randomly to be included. Obviously, don't need to all be bone, they can be whatever you are drawn to. So I'm going to go through the items that I've got in this one, this pre-purchased one. It only cost a £5, and I thought, you know what, that's pretty good, and it looks interesting. So, got die. This represents chance, luck, and possibilities. Got my little cowrie shells. These ones are mini cowries. These represent fertility, sexuality, and love. got a key for obstacles, blockages, and difficulties. We've got a small skull for ancestors, lessons, and teachings. We've got an evil eye bead for warning, jealousy, and envy. Got a shark tooth. That's for enemies and danger. Got a raven skull for intuition and guidance. Got a cross for spirituality, faith, and religion. We've got a shell, it's more like a snail type, which is for safety, protection, and slow movement. Got a Chinese coin for wealth and money. Starfish for adaptation, change, and transformation. So cute and small. It's a little broom for cleansing, travel, and swift movement. Got adventuring for harmony. And I got peacock ore. Look at the shine on that. That's for requiring focus. Got Philip says, where did you say you got it? I got it from like a mind body spirit event. There was a stall there. I think she was called the Little Grey Witch, I believe. She has got Facebook and Instagram. Yes, that's just where I got that from. Like I said, it came with the instructions as well, because that's just handy to have. It's good. It's a nice little starter set. Like I say, you can build your own if you want to. Just start off whatever you're drawn to, and you can put your own meanings to things. So you find something and you feel, oh, this feels like this to me, or like it feels like luck, or it feels like money, or it feels bad, but you still want it in your set. You put your own meanings to things. Just go with how you feel. Go with how you feel. Yeah. Then when it comes to casting the bones, some people like to use a cloth. Yeah, some people like to use a cloth with two circles on it. You got one smaller circle inside a large circle. The smaller circle is what is directly involved. Inside the larger circle is what is indirectly involved, and what is outside the circles isn't a factor. So small circle directly, larger circle indirectly, outside, don't need to pay attention to that. Another way you can cast and interpret is a similar way to how we did with using the runes. You look at how they fall, where they're grouped, and the positions are. Main thing is to try any way you feel and see what works best for you. So what you need to do is to think of a question. Simple, ask a question. It can be something that has been on your mind a lot, or just a general question. Once the question has been asked, you shake the set and then cast them. Whether you're casting onto circles or just free casting. When you read the bones, you can look at the meanings you have for each of the items, or you can use your intuition, or you might have a link to the spirits and they can tell you their interpretation of it all. You can also read the bones left to right. The bones are considered on a timeline from left to right, with the bones on the left representing the past, those in the middle the present, and those on the right the future or possible outcomes. So going back to what Jess said, that's like the 3 cards. Read them like that. Experiment, that's what it's all about. There's no set rules with these things. Just go for it. Another way you can do is the distance from the reader. The closest to the reader represents the past. Then middle, the present, and those furthest away represents the future. Then you've got your non-linear orientation. The items not read in a linear sequence, but instead interpreted as a whole based on their placement on the surface to each other. This relies more heavily on spiritual guidance. And I say it's maybe worth making a record of your readings. As with any other forms of readings, the message might not be clear right away, but in a few days, weeks, months' time, you might be suddenly, yes, that's what that was about. You know what spirits are like and everything else involved. Nothing's ever that clear, really. So yeah, that's my little rundown on the bone casting. So I'm just going to load them back up a second. I always try to be really delicate with these because they just feel so small. It's just like, don't want to break anything, especially the starfish. Let's get it back out again. Its little arms, so fragile. I don't want to be mean, like mean? Not mean, don't want to be mean, don't want to be rough with them either. So yeah, all we do. Let's have a little. Oh my gosh, the dog's got a squeaky dog. Oh dear, that was super interesting. Thank you. No problem. Thank you for watching. But I think from this, what I'm probably going to do is if I see all the little bits and bobs to like create my own set. Patrick. So think of a question, think of a question. So it just seemed like a whole lot to throw. And depending on like the surface, like I've put, let me just go down onto my table. Yeah, see I've got my table here. If I was to throw them onto this table without what I've got on top, they would just literally skid off, wouldn't they? So I put, I was rummaging around like 2 minutes before the show, trying to find something to put onto the table, and I ended up just pulling a random piece of leather. But they kind of like when you throw them, they kind of stick to it. So probably a better option. Just like a nice smooth. Let me just flip this over actually. It's all about experimenting. Let's flip it over, try the other side of it. A little bit smoother side instead of the sweetie side. Because they kind of gripped a bit on the suede side of the leather. And that kind of stopped them. Let's try this. Let's try see what happens. Oh, that's a bit better. So I'll show you how they're falling. So kind of like that. We've got cowrie shell up at the top there. So depending on how you're interpreting. To start off with, it might be easier to start off with the circle way, having like a little circle. But again, what size would you want to make circles? Up to you. Circle, bigger circle. What would be out of it? Well, I'd say that would be out of it. That's quite far away. But then, if you're reading it, and you're reading from like one way to the other, and you've got everything on there. So maybe starting off with less might be a better idea. I don't know. It's all trial and error. It's like here we've got a starfish over a broom. Right, where did I put that? I did have my paper. My paper with my instructions. Right, bear with me now. The paper's disappeared. Right, my paper has actually disappeared that got the writing on. How's that disappeared? How? Spirits might be messing this up a little bit. I don't know. I'll blame the spirit. Oh, there it is. Oh, sometimes I just confuse myself, don't I? Right. Anyway, you can see here we've got the starfish, which is on top of the broom. So the starfish represents adaptation, change, and transformation, and the broom represents cleansing, travel, and swift movement. So depending on the question you're asked would depend on how you would interpret that. Because like, say the starfish is on top of the broom, so maybe like the starfish is stopping the broom. So your adaptation, change, and transformation is putting a stop to like your travel. So something will be coming up for your change, and the change will stop your travel. What else have we got? Got these three here grouped very closely together. We've got the die, we've got the raven skull, but that's upside down. So could that be significant, it being upside down? Would it be like a reverse tarot card with the meaning on that? And then you've got the key there as well. So you've got the die, which is for chance, luck, and possibilities. The key for obstacles and blockages. And then the raven for intuition and guidance. So again, it's all, how would you interpret that? And here, we've got the cross and the evil eye very close together. The evil eye is very nearly into like one of the sort of crux of the cross. So again, I'd look at that. You've got the cross, which is for spirituality, faith and religion. And the evil eye is warning, jealousy and envy. Again, interpret that as you will. See what I mean? It all kind of relates to like what question you're asking and how you are going to interpret things. Alright, like I said, they've got the cowrie shell was further away. So would that mean that whatever the cowrie shell is, you could either just not have it in, but we've got one of them there, one's over there, so it might only be like half. Because the cowrie shell is fertility, sexuality, and love. And it could be like, there might be a little bit of love involved, but not altogether. Again, it's just down to intuition and how you would personally interpret these. And if you do make your diary of it as you go along, then you can refer back to it and be like, oh yeah, that did mean that, or no, I wasn't quite there on that, maybe it meant this instead, and you kind of develop a better understanding of it, if that makes sense. Right, let me just grab the, sorry, I put the dressing gown back over my legs, cold. Right, and Kate's question, what is it about? Cleansing or something. What are good ways to cleanse and protect your home? In many different ways, to be fair. Many different ways. Cleanse it. You can go for some good old incense. Burn some of that. Pick like fragrance that you're drawn to. Try and go for more like natural ones, like lavender, pine. They're good for cleansing. Someone's telling me orange, probably from Ben, because Ben always uses orange for objects and stuff. But yeah, then you've got, there's so many different ways depending on what you want to do, because some people like to use salt. To use for that for cleansing, putting in that areas of your house. It's supposed to draw negativity away. What else? And protection. Some people like to put, it's lavender at the front door, isn't it? Lavender for protection, I believe, and rosemary for wealth. What else can we do? We've got things like bells. Bells are good. So I've got a dog staring at me, whining at me. She's very distracting. She's very cute. Yeah, a lot of it is to do with intent. So whatever you choose, as long as your intent behind it is firm for what you're actually wanting, that's probably about 75% of it, to be fair. 75% intent and 25% the actual tools that you use. So any other questions? What have we got coming up? Tomorrow, Damon will be doing the main show. Me and Ben might pop on, but we will be travelling because we are going to go to Smelly Baths for an investigation there. So that'll be good. Hang on. Another dog thought you really had Cerberus. Yeah. We got the nephew as well now. Thank you, really helpful. No problem. If you find, it's okay, if you look online, there's loads of different ways that you might be more drawn to one than another. But yeah, if you've just got any questions, just pop them over to me and Ben or Damon. Because sometimes we know what the internet's like. Sometimes you can find some dodgy stuff and you think, really? Is that right? But yeah, the internet, it has got loads of different ideas on different things from different cultures, different places around the world, and it's just really interesting to look into how they might do something as opposed to other ways of doing it. It's fascinating. It would be interesting to have a little notebook, work a few sessions with the Divination and see if they form a picture. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Damon's doing the main show tomorrow. Me and Ben are on the way to Smethwick. Saturday, going around to Jeanette's house. Because those of you who've been with us for a while will know that Jeanette has a couple of dolls and a teddy that are quite interesting. Yeah, we did some work with them a few months ago, and so we're going to go back, do a bit more work with them. She's also got another object that we're going to try some psychometry with, see what comes up with that. And she's also messaged me to say she's got some other sort of secret surprise or something that she's not going to tell me about until I get there. So who knows what that is. So that'll be tomorrow night, possibly around 7:30. Yeah, and then Sunday we've got occultology, history and science, where I will be looking into the occult sciences book. having a bit of read on that. See how we go. What we got here? I'll have to buy a set and have a play. Definitely. Thank you for all advice. No problem. Most of my advice is just go and try stuff. Not in a dangerous way though. Will you be going live with the psychometry? Yeah. Sorry, Jeanette. Yeah, you're going live. Yeah, I'll be. Because Jeanette, she's actually really good at picking up things from spirits, particularly. So we're going to try and experiment with psychometry with Jeanette. So see how that goes. At least it'll be recorded so that we can go back. Because again, if you keep records of it, either by filming or in a notepad, and the more work you do with certain things, you can make your notes, compare it, go back and forth, and see how things have come along. See how the story unfolds. Oh, hang on, I'm just clicking on things. Interested night again, thanks, no problem. All sounds amazing. Jeanette says, yep. Great information, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Excellent, I'm looking forward to it too. It's been a while since we've been around to Jeanette's house to look at her items, and I'm intrigued as to what she's saying about the other thing is. She's not going to tell me. But yeah, so it's a good, busy weekend for us all. Hope you guys have got a good weekend coming up too. Anyone doing anything exciting? Let us know. Share with the group.
Just told you, what's about that?
Pups are getting told off. Right, let me just gather these up. And anyone got any requests for another divination show? Let me know. And I can look into it for you. If there's no requests, then I'll have to think of something myself. Let me think. Riley's out on a date Saturday. It's got Saturday night. Riley's out on a date. Is it going anywhere nice? What was scrolling up? It says nope. That's all right. Jess says, think I'll be looking into this a bit more as I only do tarot. Yeah. But I've done quite a few. Oh my gosh, why is there a little flying thing in here? Yeah, I've done quite a few divination things. So I'm sure the videos are on here if you're interested in other areas and having a bit of like a look at the background and history on things. Because I quite like the cowrie shells. That's a little bit simpler and the answer's a little bit more defined, whereas this might be a bit more in depth. But yeah, there's loads of different fascinating things out there. What we got? Yvonne says, nothing exciting for me at the minute. Have birds going on Monday. Oh. Right, so. Oh, Riley doesn't know where yet. Riley, you need to get planning. But yeah, at least he's going on the dates. That's good. Philip needs to catch up on the shows he's missed. Yeah, I hope you enjoy them. Any comments on the previous shows, just put hashtag replay, then put your comment in, and we'll get back to you. Hopefully, one of us very well. We shall try. Right, so I'm going to wrap the show up there, I think. Yeah, I think we've covered everything, haven't we? Right, well, thank you all for joining me. It's nice not to just be sat here by myself. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, any divination you want me to look into and do a show on, pop a message either to me or to the page, or just comment on this video. Yeah. I'll say good night and I shall see you soon. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.